Hey, GLP-1 plus size community. Before we jump into the podcast, please take the time to leave us a 5-star review on whatever audio platform you're listening to the podcast on. Share your story and how the podcast has helped you. This will help us get referred up in the audio platform so that we can reach more people that need our help, our support, and guidance from our doctors. Help us get loud and change things.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, wegovy, and Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.
Want the fastest working GLP-1? For half the price, Ro now offers FDA-approved weight loss injections cheaper. With results you can see faster. Lose 15% of your weight with the formula from Eli Lilly that hits not one, but 2 hormones to curb hunger and nausea. Weight loss faster. Confidence higher. Price cheaper. See if you qualify at ro.co/TV.
Exactly. Yes. And you're right, Kim, for the longest time we think of, bread is our enemy, bread is our enemy. But that's because we've also been eating the wrong kind.
Yeah.
Not all foods are our enemy. Also, it's, what type of food you're eating. And then, but even before I was on GLP-1s, even a sprouted bread was my enemy. And that's because I would sometimes eat 10 pieces in one sitting. And that was my problem. I would eat
Carbs, right?
of something good.
Yeah.
And this is what
Is sprouted bread gluten-free?
sprouted bread. No, it's not gluten free, but it could be. There is also sprouted gluten free bread.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
I tried and I'd eat a lot of gluten. I tried to.
bet
It
you'll be able to
bothers me
find
to be
it,
bloated. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you'll
love
be
the
on
idea of
alert
gluten.
for it.
Go ahead, Karen. Ran over you a little bit. What'd you say?
Oh, that's right. I'm sure you'll be on alert for it. You'll be able to find a gluten-free sprouted
Well, I'm
bread.
excited.
Oh,
I'm already thinking because I was sort of thinking when you were saying salmon, I'm like, oh, and then cream cheese. That's what I
No,
thought.
salmon.
And then you went, no, cottage cheese. And I was like,
Yes, especially now. There's this cottage cheese that I love. It's called a good. Is
Oh,
it
I love that one.
the-
It's called good, just good. I think it's just called good, right?
I think it is just good, and it's really dense and it's really thick, and it kind of feels like cottage cheese.
yeah.
And you get the low fat type, and again, it's 20 grams for half a cup,
Wow.
and it has like 80 calories. And what I actually do is I put a lot of cayenne pepper on it because
Ooh.
cayenne pepper is the only kind of pepper that's actually it acts as an antioxidant, and it's also extremely high anti-inflammatory components to it. And what a lot of people don't realize is that cayenne pepper is only spicy if you let it sit. So believe it or not, I eat about a half a cup of cayenne pepper a day. And the trick is eating it right away. So I'll get the good cottage cheese, is what it's called, and then I'll put in, like in the whole entire box, I'll put in half a cup of cayenne pepper, and I eat it really quickly, and it won't be spicy because it won't be sitting. And then it has just so many anti-inflammatory components to it, and it's so good for you. And it kickstarts your metabolism even more because you still need your metabolism to be going while on GLP. So foods that you can eat that actually help to regulate that even more to get your metabolism running, those are your friends. So these are things that you could be doing that's going to be really, I mean, make a huge difference while on this new lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I almost wish, because like if you think about it, I don't think diet was ever meant to be what it's become. Like the diet was just meant to be a lifestyle, right? Like just the things
Mhm.
that are nutritious for your body. But the way we've, I think, packaged it and shipped it, it's kind of messed the word up, you know? So I like the idea of
Yeah.
thinking about it like a lifestyle, right?
Mhm.
Um,
I mean, I myself, the second I would hear the word diet, I would fail.
you'd be like, bye.
Because to me, diet meant limitation.
Yes,
That's what it
absolutely.
meant. And diet meant already overweight. And
Yeah.
diet already meant I'm eating too much. So already it
Mm,
came from a really negative kind of place. So I replaced that with lifestyle. And
yeah.
it really helped me kind of rethink and really re rework my brain the way it thinks about
Yeah.
food.
Yeah, I absolutely, in the beginning, like I just refused. It's just because of years of this, right? I refused to call it diet and exercise. So I would call it nutrition and movement. I refuse to call it diet and exercise. Like I just, yeah, like, because they've ruined it. Like they've ruined what I think the intent was for it. And so, I think it's more of that. And that's why I talk about different ways to have the kind of diet, and then different ways to have different kinds of movement. That could be walking, could be going up and down the stairs, could be doing some stretches and stuff that cat teaches us on our channel, or going to the cycle bar, going to the gym, like whatever it means. There's just lots of different ways to move, and there's lots of different ways to get nutrients, right? And then to eat the good things. I love all of that. I would love for we could talk a little bit about like when our bodies change, whether you're on a GLP-1 or not, like hormonally, right? Like there's one thing I've learned from the doctors is like the body's not static. Like it does, it ebbs and flows. And I think that there's probably some things in terms of nutrition that would be maybe more important during certain times of our lives. Do you have any insight into that?
Well, I think a great example of that would be menopause, right? The big changes in our lives. I
Mhm.
myself, as a woman, I'm now premenopausal.
Mhm.
So already when you're going through these hormone changes, right? You
Yeah.
have already a lack of energy. Yeah, you're fatigued all the time. You know, the big brain fog. I can't tell you how many times a day I kind of just forget what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what was
Bizarre.
I doing? Yeah, I blank out, and that's all contributed to this premenopause, all these hormone changes. But specifically for women who are on a GLP-1 and are premenopausal, I think some of the best foods that you can eat, and I really can't emphasize this enough, and that will make the biggest difference in your life, is mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms have been,
Kind.
and now mushrooms
I love a portobello.
and portobello too as well.
Ah,
And I say this part that comes with high research and proven how mushrooms could be helping you balancing your hormones. Now, if you're premenopausal, not menopausal, if you're male, it doesn't matter. Mushrooms are miracle for your body. There is specifically there is some mushrooms that are game changers, and there's ways that you could eat them that would be quicker. You don't have to cook. There is, of course, there is the lion's mane, right? Lion's mane. It's that beautiful long, nice mushroom. It's so delicious, and there's so many things you could do with the lion's mane. Now, the lion's mane is specifically helps with the brain fog. So if you're kind of having a memory loss and through hormonal changes, is lion's mane is the mushroom that you want to eat. And then of course there is the reishi. Reishi is the one for stress, and it regulates mood swings. Mood swings is a really big one, going through changes in your body. And all of these mushrooms, you don't eat them if you don't have the time, or if you don't even, maybe you just don't even have the desire to cook. You could have them in tea form, you could have them in pill form, you could have them, and a big one that I utilize every single day is in powder form, and I just put them in my coffee. So these mushrooms are such a big one. Now, cordyceps is a huge one because that one is for stamina, and it's for your libido. Now, a lot of times, there is a couple of things that really affect your libido, right? If you're on these GLP-1s, I found myself and a lot of the people that I speak with is that your sex drive is down big time because with that same noise in your head that wants food, and also that part of your brain that wants, the sex hormones have kind of disappeared. And then on top of that, add that you're a woman, you're premenopausal, that
Yeah.
that sex drive is gone. And then add that you're on GLP, and then add that all together, the sex drive is just gone completely. So cordyceps have been proven to help your libido, which is so important, because these all help to maintain a really, really healthy lifestyle. And it doesn't take much to be able to eat them. These mushrooms, just about half a teaspoon, you can get them at any health food stores. And just adding them in your protein shakes, in your coffee. If you love cooking, you could saute them and having them in whole form, but they make a huge difference. And you'll actually will feel these immediately. And like you said, Kat, like the portobello or shiitake portobello. Now these are really high in vitamin and B vitamins, vitamin D, which is a really, really big one. So these in very little forms and foods will make a huge, huge difference in your lifestyle. And what I love about these, the mushrooms, these are all being proven. These aren't one of those
Yeah.
things they say, oh, it's been said these are going to help you.
Yeah.
They actually do. And there's so much scientific research to back that up.
Well, I
So,
think that's really cool. Like, I feel like for me, I feel like the doctors are always like, you take a vitamin, you take a pill, but like, because, maybe I can only, but I love the idea of taking something like a mushroom, grinding it up and putting it in something you're already doing. One, to maybe add flavor, and two, to have all these benefits. Like, and that way it's not, you're not thinking about the quantity, right? Or the whole meal that you have to be that's associated with it, but being able to get the benefits of it. I think that's just something I've never heard before. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
I made Ooh. It reminded me because I used to use the powdered mushrooms for my proffies and just mix it in my protein in my proffie. And I actually learned this is silly, or it's silly or not silly. I don't know. When my dog's no longer with us, right? So, but he had bone cancer. But I actually learned in this cancer group that turkey tail mushroom is actually really great to prevent I think that what they said, like, it prevented the masses from growing or what. Well, if you know more about that, I'd like to know.
It's interesting you say that. So I'm holding my dog right now. He's sitting in
Oh,
my lap, but he has a lot of lumps growing because of his old age, 15.
yeah,
So I give him turkey tail for that
you
exact.
do.
And
Okay.
and they say, people that have even different diseases, any kind of cancer, in order to prevent those cells from growing, is turkey tail. So it literally does the same thing with our body because what it does, it prevents anything toxic from growing. And that works in dogs. So my dog gets turkey tail powder in his food every single day.
So
I eat turkey tail, and that's one that I forgot to mention. I'm glad you brought it up, but turkey tail is, I mean, huge. It makes a huge difference in your diet. And then again, with GLP-1s, you want to be able to find super, super nutritious, dense food that you have to eat small quantity because that you don't want to be eating a lot because you just that desire sometimes for some people goes away, which is why you could get all these mushrooms in powder form. And all you have to do is like have a half a teaspoon of them a day, mix them in. I mean, you can mix them into anything. I mix them into protein shakes, into your coffee, and then also what I said before with the hemp seeds, with the chia seeds, I mean, you just have to take about 1 teaspoon a day of these that makes such a big difference in your
And
whole
are those do those have fiber too? I feel like I heard people
extremely high fiber.
it's just great if you got that constipation because like it can happen.
Exactly. With
Yeah.
constipation, when GLP-1s, anything helps, right? To try to
yeah.
regulate you. So that's when the chia and the hemp seeds really help. And also the flax seeds. The flax seeds are like miracle, right? So I mean, I have this in my kitchen all next to each other. Flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, and I add them into everything. And I mean, they help big on constipation.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to be doing on GLP-1s and drinking a lot of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. That is the hardest thing I think too. Like, I don't think people recognize it's you have to make like it's sort of the same part of the brain, like having to make this
Mhm.
decision to drink the water all day long. I actually have an app that like reminds me because I just don't even think about it. Like
Right.
and you have to because like I'm telling you, the difference between being really constipated and not, it's
It's
water.
it's the water. Now, things that I do that make a huge difference for me, I flavor them, and I do them with fresh herbs. I do mint, basil. The skin of that pineapple is a great way to drink water. Next time, make sure you get organic pineapple. Once you take that kind of flesh, you want to take the skin and you can boil it with like 20 cups of water in a huge pot. Put a cinnamon stick in there,
Yum.
and then put it through a strainer if there's any little parts of the skin, and then just refrigerate it. Could drink that all day long.
Oh man, that sounds so good.
All day.
Yeah.
Has so much antioxidants.
I
You
love
get
that.
your water. And for people that don't enjoy drinking water, which, myself included, I found that ways that could get me excited is making them flavorful. A huge one for me is the pineapple. It's the only way I get to drink
I
water.
love that because I really don't like the additive. Like, I mean, I've tried all these things. I really just I'd rather just drink it with ice. Like, and even then, it's still really difficult to get as much in as we
Yeah.
need. So I love the idea of like kind of flavoring it naturally. I've seen people talk of these things, but I just haven't tried them. But I love it.
Yeah.
I'm a pineapple freak. Like, I
Mm.
love pineapple. Like, like nature's candy.
And it's
Yeah.
so
Um,
and it's so good for you. And a
yeah.
lot of times people are like, "Oh, it has too much sugar," and you're like, "Okay, then you could just have that skin, and it'll go
Yeah.
long, long way." So it's exactly the same thing as cooking. You just have to get creative,
Yeah.
and you do have to do a little of the work. You do at the beginning, but the results on the other side are so vast. You get such a big results, and you really see it. You see it in your skin, you see it in your body. That fatigue goes away. That for me, a big one has been my skin is maintaining, kind of not having my skin droop, because I lost my weight pretty quick.
Yeah.
50 pounds, I mean, came off in like, I think it was like 6, 7 months. I mean, it just it was almost like the weight was just like, okay, I need to come off. It doesn't belong there. I need for it to
Yeah.
come off. And so I've learned ways to really still look healthy, because if you lose, it's not about losing weight, right? It's about being healthy.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Although I will tell you in the beginning, that is not how I saw things, like
Yeah.
at all. And I think most people don't like, and I remember in the beginning, so, summer 2022, where we were making content, we were doing weigh-in days and shot day videos.
Mhm.
And because it was like we were approaching it like accountability and not like hey, here are some recipes of how I ate nutritiously today. Or it wasn't like that. It was like, we were diet culturing it because that's all
Right.
we knew. That's all we
Exactly.
knew, right? But then we all started being like, "Are you guys realizing that it's really quiet up here?" And they'd be like, "Oh my god, yeah, me too. You feeling that too?" And then we all, I feel like, started to learn over time, and it was cool. Like it was neat to like experience that all together, real time on friggin'
Mhm.
TikTok. But but it because it was kind of special. But I think like there were just so many realizations from that, you know. But I think that in the beginning, like I remember, I started out really slow, because it's a lot. Like I think that we carry the weight with us physically, but the mental weight of this is a lot. Cat calls it the weight between the ears, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that I tell people a lot when people say, like, what should I eat? I'll just go just for starters, because it's a lot, right?
Mhm.
Just eat a little less than you're eating now. Because I
Right.
remember that's what I did. And I had never done this way before, but I sort of could slow my mind down and was capable of doing it. I was like, I'm just gonna eat a little less. And then when I lost weight, I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna move a little more. How am I gonna do that? And I was like, I'm just gonna keep putting my laundry and dishes and never let them pile up. Right. So every day I was doing laundry and dishes for my family and myself. Right. And then I was like, what if I do this with intention? Like,
Mm.
what if I apply these different things that we're talking about here, right?
Right.
What could happen then? Could I be one of those people that loses 100 pounds? And the answer was yes.
Mhm.
You know? And so I think that anybody can do that, but and I think too, like, because of diet culture, a lot of times people think like, I can't afford this medicine.
So I want to optimize my time on it as much as possible,
Exactly.
as much weight as I can, right? Um, and I still think that it should be, and I know I understand the mindset, but I think if you think about it, like what's really happening is you really are just trying to nourish your body and make it the healthiest that you can make it. Because your body is not going to be the same as mine.
Right.
And we have many friends that have lost 100 pounds and 200 pounds and ended up in size zeros. We have many friends that were my size and are in size zeros now. And then it's just different for everyone. It really is. But I love the idea of like adding these little things. These are such cool tips.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ro, a telehealth platform that's changing the game of GLP-1 access. What sets Ro apart? Ro understands the challenges of navigating insurance hurdles and the skyrocketing prices of GLP-1 medications. That's why they specialize in getting insurance approvals for GLP-1s. And if insurance is a barrier, they go a step further by prescribing brand name zepbound vials for prices close to those of compound GLP-1s. With Ro, you're not just getting a prescription, you're getting a partner in your journey that's helping you access affordable treatment and guiding you every step of the way. Whether it's insurance approvals or cost-effective alternatives, Ro is here to make sure that you get the medication you need. Visit ro.co/plus sides with a Z today to see how they can help you take control of your weight management journey with affordable, accessible care. That's ro.co/plus sides with a Z, making healthcare work for you. Check out the link in our show notes for more details.
No, they really they make
Really
such
realistic
they make
too.
such a big difference. They really do make a
Mhm.
difference when you kind of add them up and you make a couple of changes. Because
Mhm.
there's three types of people that are on GLP-1s, right? There's the one type that's going to be on it for there's no end time, right? Just thinking indefinitely. So
Right.
then they go at the beginning, they're like, okay, all I care about is losing weight.
Uh-huh.
And then once they do, they're like, okay, now I need to know what to eat and actually to maintain, to actually look healthy. Then there's people that are, like you said right now, Kim, that could maybe it's very expensive. So they want to do it at a short time and they want to just lose as much as weight as possible. So nutrition is not even important for them, right? Because all they're thinking about is losing weight. What to eat is not even in their mindset.
Mhm.
So then it becomes even more important about learning about how to eat properly. Because if they're doing this short term and they're getting off of it and they go right back to their old habits, they're just going to gain it weight,
Yeah.
weight right
Yeah.
back. Right? Because what is the point? So it becomes even more important to understand about nutrition because they're looking at it as a short term. And then there are people that going to be doing this GLP-1 at the beginning. All they're thinking of just at the beginning, right? Is weight loss, weight loss, weight loss.
Yeah. Most people are.
You know, because it's so exciting at the beginning,
Yeah.
right?
Because you're like, oh my God, it's
You
working.
can't even
You kidding
believe
me?
it. I mean, I still
True.
can't believe it. I remember the weight coming out. I couldn't believe it because I've been on every diet you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And every day I was like, this is actually working. And
You
I
get on the scale, you're like, what's
was
happening?
like,
What's going on?
I just couldn't even believe it.
Yeah.
And then I realized, okay, so now I really have to make these big changes
Yeah.
in order for me to do my part.
Yeah.
So anyway, you look at it, nutrition is very important.
Yes. Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, and I think that it's important to consider like I still think people should be able to enjoy things in moderation. I
Right.
think that if you want to have the Intimates cake like once a month and you just get a few bites,
Mhm.
okay. Like I think that it's okay. And I don't want there to be I don't want people to think about because truthfully, like scientifically, from what the doctors say, right, food is fuel, right? But we do want the majority of our fuel to be premium, right? And I think like these are cool ways to be able to do that in like a small space. I have a pug, and they say there's a lot of dog in a small space. So like a mushroom, like the powder and like your drink might be like that.
Exactly.
That's really cool. Actually, and speaking of enjoying our food, we're talking about going out with your family, family meals, with your friends. How can we start to kind of make that a different way to navigate around going out and being with your family?
I mean, myself, through my own personal journey. At first it's all my life I've been taught by my family, you're overweight, you're overweight, you're overweight.
Right.
Now all of a sudden you get all this weight loss, and now it becomes the reverse. Everybody's like, are you eating enough? You're not eating. Then your friends are being somewhat judgmental because they're thinking you're not eating enough or you're not being healthy. So then you become kind of self-conscious about, okay, should I eat more than I want to in front of other people just so I don't get judged? Or, should I be not being honest about my lifestyle? And I think what's really important on this is to kind of just be really honest to yourself and understand that this is the new you. You shouldn't be, you shouldn't have that kind of pressure from family or friends to eat a lot more. And especially when, hosting parties, that's when you could really go and do a lot of healthy dishes for your friends and kind of introduce them to, healthier foods. A big one is alcohol. I found that while I enjoyed my cocktail and wine, and
Yeah.
I'm a pretty social person, and I go to a lot of happy hours. And one thing that has really lowered my intake on alcohol has been GLP-1. And now they're making that correlation. They're saying, GLP-1 could really even help people that have addiction problems.
Mhm.
I faced actually a lot of pressure from my friends because we go out for happy hour and I'll have one drink and they'll start noticing it. And they're like, well, why are you just having one drink? And now I'm starting to feel guilty about having, a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah.
And, now it's not fair because, these are people that love you. These are people that support you. But at the same time, they're seeing this really big change in you. And they want to support you, but there's their
Not at
feel
their detriment. That's the thing.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
And they
So,
want you who's doing the same thing. Like, and it's not like, I want to be clear, like, I'm not shaming anybody for this. It is human. This is just
yes,
human, right? Like, so they want you to kind of be in that with them. If they don't want to feel bad about their second drink because you're not having a second drink, or they don't want to feel alone or isolated because we're very tribal, right? Because you're not having a third drink, or what, or the same. I think the same thing goes with food, and like you said, like we all gather, and when we gather tribally or in family, how you want to look at it, we are doing that usually around something we ingest, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what we do with holidays. That's what we do with cookouts. Like every time we're getting together, we're all making sure we ingest something. Like even when you go to like, if you want to do something simple, like let's go see a movie, you're gonna have popcorn and the Coke, right? Like,
exactly. That's all. It's first thing.
so that's everything.
Right.
And look, as we talk about like people that are alcoholics, right? Or I'm probably not saying it correctly, like addiction or alcoholism or whatever it may be, they can walk away from it, right? But like when you have issues with food, you can't be without it. Like you can't, there's something you can
Have to
quit.
survive
It's
on it.
always there. You have to eat. You can't not eat, right? So I think like that's what's cool about like kind of the combination of like choosing what you eat and like being able to choose it. I don't think people understand that. Like it's literally like for me, and I really couldn't. Like I would do it for a while and then my body would be like, "No." And
Mhm.
we're doing this. And the doctors have described sort of like, which has been helpful, I think, on the show, like talked about, well, that food noise, right? That's your body trying to regain weight
Right.
because your body thinks there's a famine. Like, and
Right.
it doesn't know there's no famine. It doesn't know. And so, and it's not just the foods. Like I could eat all the nice things in the world and eat it perfectly. I've been on many diets where I was eating so nutritiously, but at some point that noise just started coming back full force. And I was like white knuckling, and then it was back. And it was all I could think about. Like I could be in bed thinking about the leftovers in the
Right.
refrigerator. Like that, but people don't understand that when you
Yeah.
struggle metabolically, it's torture.
It
It's
really is. I
you
used to
know?
have anxiety while dining out with friends
Yeah.
because they wanted to share an appetizer. And I'll tell you why I had anxiety is because I would constantly feel like I'm not getting my fair share. Like I would actually, when we were sharing food, I wouldn't go. If I had to use the restroom, I wouldn't go because I was afraid that I would go and I wouldn't get my share fair of food. That's
Yeah,
how
I get it.
I understand that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, now we need an anthropologist on the show because I'm so curious.
Constant. Yeah, that noise is there. It was there constantly.
Yeah.
And I have actually become more successful in my job on GLP-1 because now I have where that brain power would constantly go to this noise, it's shut down, it's quiet.
Yeah.
Now I could concentrate on other things in my life. And it was always bad, like exactly like you said. It wouldn't shut 24/7. It wouldn't shut. It was constant. It was taking up so much space
Yeah.
in my head that there really wasn't left room for anything else.
Yeah.
I would go on vacations, I would have anxiety. I'm like, I'm going to be eating. What am I going to be eating? Am I going to be eating too much? Oh my God, I'm going to gain 20 pounds. I'm going to come back. I'm going to go terrible. And I would go, I would go to Europe and everybody says, oh, you go to Europe, you don't gain weight. I would come back 25 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
And it was because it was the constant obsession. And now that obsession, that noise is just gone.
Just gone.
It's quiet.
Yeah.
And I feel like
And
I'm
I
a
feel
normal
hungry.
person. I'm hungry. I get
I mean, I
hungry.
still get hungry.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
still get hungry. I
Yeah.
still enjoy food.
Yeah.
Did you used to crave, like, especially as a chef, I'm wondering, like, did you used to crave, like, the most caloric, like, delicious things over anything else? Like, the things that were full of, like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like, I can't help but wonder if that's because our body knows that. Like, our brain knows that's the thing that can get us the weight so we can survive the famine. Like, I
Right.
because it's like
I mean, I think it's biologically, yeah.
yeah.
We were drawn to the sugar and the fat because it's caloric. It would get us
Right. Yeah.
through the famine.
Yeah, was
And
it
we're
like
not hunter-gatherers
you
anymore.
ate all the things,
Right.
like, you're a chef, you have all, like, a
I mean,
great
constantly. It's
yeah.
I've been constantly told when I had all this extra weight on me is that it's normal. You're a chef, or yeah. I mean, you're around food all the time, but that shouldn't be it. That shouldn't just because you're on food all the time. You shouldn't be. It shouldn't contribute to you
Yes.
excess weight. There should be now. I teach classes. I teach one-on-ones, and before, um, I would constantly go in the kitchen and eat something myself. It was more about me and I want to eat something versus about teaching. And now it's more about what I'm teaching because that noise is gone. And then exactly like you said, Kim, I wanted to eat the most outrageous things. I mean, um, I would make these outrageous big soufflés for like four, and I would just eat it by
Sounds
myself.
gorgeous, though. That sounds
Love
beautiful.
it. Love
Right?
it.
I would just sit
Deal.
there and I would eat it. And then, with it, of course, came, the guilt, the all of that. And now, I still eat souffle, but I feel like I eat it like what I define as a normal person. It's like
Yeah.
I'll have 2 spoons and I'll be done. So
Yeah.
I eat everything.
Yeah.
You
Which
know,
I think is the freedom in it, right?
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
For-
But as you eat less, though, you have
but
to
I
be
eat
strategic,
less,
right?
right?
You
For
have
the
to be
first time.
strategic about what you eat.
Exactly. I look at myself and I'm like, this is it. What I
You
do.
know what? It's also like no more food hangover. Remember you would get those like the next day you wake up and you just felt just stuffed,
Yeah.
still heavy.
Right.
I call it a food hangover.
Yeah, yeah. And then, again, last thing about what you said, Kat, about your question is, just recently I was asked to go to a restaurant with a couple of my girlfriends and they wanted to do a 30-course chef's kind of table thing. And I can't sit through a 30-course, even though it's tiny, but I can't do it.
Yeah,
And,
attention span.
and I felt pressure. I felt pressure to say yes.
Yeah.
Foodie, and I felt pressure to be like, yes. But, I had to be true to myself. And it's really difficult saying no.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to please. You constantly want to please people. But once you get used to saying no and putting yourself first,
Mhm.
then you get much more comfortable.
Yeah. I think that's a really cool insight. I think it's so true. I think a lot of people, I say a lot, I'm a chronic people pleaser. I am not in recovery, but I'm working on it. I really am. I really am. But I think that if you live life in a big body, you are trying to be, especially like in media, right? And things like that, or like in marketing, like being cat, like we are always trying to be pleasing. We always want everybody to be happy and content and to often to our detriment, right? And I think like it's a big shift on this, this medicine challenges everything in our society. Like It does, and people don't think
Yeah.
about it. You know what I mean?
It's not just
Nutritious on everything.
about the weight loss. It really is everything. It's
Yes.
something as a whole. It really is. I agree with you.
Yeah. So, I know you were on the show Chopped, right, with the Food Network, right? And that's on Netflix now, or it was on Netflix now?
So I've done so I did Chopped, and this is kind of was my introduction to culinary. That's when I was transitioning into the journalist, and then through that just kind of other doors opened, and I do have a cooking show coming up on Netflix,
Oh, that's
and
great.
it's
Sounds exciting.
really exciting. But what's really funny about this is that when I shot this 2 years ago, it was before my weight loss. Because you
Oh.
kind of take this show and you shop it around, and then, in the hopes of, one of these streamers are purchasing it.
Yeah.
So this was before my journey with a GLP-1. So that's going to be really interesting and kind of fun to watch the, former me. But that's something really, really exciting because it's on Middle Eastern cuisine. And really the emphasis of the show is about healthy eating.
I love it.
Gordon is about people coming together, family, community, and having food as their centerpiece, but having it very flavorful, high in nutrition, and just really enjoying it without the feeling of guilt.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Do you know what it's called and when it's gonna be out yet? So our
So
guests
it's going to be out in May.
Hey, that's so soon.
Very soon.
Yeah, it's been almost 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
So, and the name is going to be, it's a, I laugh at the name, but it's Saffron and Dreams.
Oh, I
Okay.
love that.
I like that.
But I like that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah, so it's really exciting.
Whimsical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
very
whimsical,
exciting.
yes.
Yeah.
Which I do feel like anything Mediterranean, I just feel whimsy. I'm so American. That's what all my friends say that are from other countries. They're like, "Oh, you're so American." It's true. Where can people find you, like on socials and stuff, so they can
On
follow
social
you?
media, they could find me if they just follow me, my first name and last name. I do a lot of these videos on healthy eating, recipes that I give out. And I'm, again, very transparent about my GLP-1 journey, which is a way where a lot of people kind of reach out to me because there is no avenue about, like you said at the beginning, people want to know what can they eat,
Yes.
with this new lifestyle. So yeah, I would love for them to reach out to me if they have any questions, if they need any recipes. I love to just, everyone that's kind of been on this journey would love to do that. Yes,
And then if they're local, can they come to your
absolutely. Yes, if you're local, Washington, D.C. I started a GLP-1 class.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how the community was going to take that, and it was what to eat while on GLP-1s. And I kind of put it out there, and I kept thinking, nobody's going to sign up for this because a lot of people I see at the beginning on this lifestyle, they're kind of on the hush hush, especially DC.
Yeah.
Given like the demographics here, they're on the hush hush. But I mean, these classes get packed, and it becomes a community. It really does, and you don't feel alone. And then you make so many friends there, and then these people kind of all walk out of these classes, knowing each other, exchanging phone numbers, and feeling like they're not alone in this journey. So we even offer classes once a month that I teach personally on nutritious foods that you could eat, GLP-1s.
That's fantastic. I love it. If we put like your website, does it have links to all these things? If we do
Yes, it has to all of
Okay,
that,
okay,
and it's really simple. Just DC Cooking School.
all right. I will make sure that I put that in the show notes. This is
Amazing.
an amazing
Thank
conversation.
you,
And
ladies.
thank you.
Ladies are unbelievable.
I
What you're doing, giving all this knowledge, this information. I mean, it's you're unbelievable.
Thank you.
you.
Like I do a lot of healing through this work. That's for
it's
sure.
been a lot of work, a lot of healing work. But that avocado tip, I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow.
I'm telling you,
you.
the first thing I thought was when she made that sandwich and she took that pit out, and I was like, "Look, the seeds."
That is so cool. And I gotta get a new tub of mushroom powders.
Yes, yeah.
I'm totally
Go
doing
to go to Whole Foods. They have the best coming.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. Good to know.
Yes, yes.
Thank
All right,
you,
friends.
ladies.
Well, we will see you next week. Make sure to look at the show notes so that you can have access to all of the resources in the land. And just remember, like, you're not alone, like, clearly. And it's not your fault. It's a biological dysfunction. It's a disease. We're regulating it, and you deserve to have a rich, full life. Okay. So we will see you next week. We love you so much.
Food has definitely been a very dominant voice in my head. That's not the main focus anymore. Dieting, exercising, and adding GLP-1s through Row is a game changer. I have such a sense of mental freedom since I started with Row. Food no longer controls my thoughts. Family time used to revolve around food, and now it revolves around what we're gonna go do together.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, wegovy, or Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together, because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.